All right, aloha and welcome everyone once again to another Conscious Creator Collaborative Work Period for our leading members as part of Paradigm Shift Central. Again, this is a project that we do to be able to help support each other as conscious creators and being able to level up our content creation, being able to optimize our social media tactics, being able to support and develop our skills as entrepreneurs, and ultimately being able to work towards just new levels of personal creativity and success and to help accelerate the shift in consciousness. If you're watching this in the future, these recordings, we keep these online and available because we want the people watching this to perhaps just be inspired and for you guys to ultimately be able to receive the value of what comes out of these discussions, and to know that if you guys are watching this in the future and you're looking to be able to be involved with these meetings are for our leading members, and you can become a leading member when you join on the Patreon. And then again, that's a sliding scale starting at $11 a month. And you can check out the Discord link down below. So if you're looking to surround yourself with a community of conscious creators, please feel free to join the Discord or send me a message on Instagram, and I'll be happy to be able to answer any questions. And before we dive into this, I would encourage you to even go back and check out the past meetings that we've had. There's a lot of value there. So there's probably some stuff there that I won't necessarily repeat within this particular meeting. And the link for that is in the YouTube info below. So with that said, just going to cover a couple basic things. I didn't mention this last week. I just want to be able to give like a huge congratulations to everyone for the August 27th broadcast. That was a huge success. And I think that just kind of goes to show what happens when we collectively put our intentions together, and just to kind of show, like, you know, when we're kind of cross promoting and inviting people in, it becomes a really, really powerful experience for community. And just being able to kind of mention that as a lead up to our next broadcast at the time of this meeting, but it will still apply for future meetings. In this meeting for the podcast coming up this Thursday, which is September 3rd, is going to be a full moon party. And so some of you guys have seen, usually leading into these broadcasts, again, this is particularly for leading members, but for anybody here, I usually create like a graphic, and then I create like a graphic that you can do like a green screen video effect. When you guys see me create that, send me a DM on Instagram if you want me to be able to send you that graphic, and then you can kind of recreate your own version. I also keep it very simple by creating a tiny URL, which is like where you can take the YouTube link, go to tinyurl.com, plug it in, and then create your own URL. So it'll be tinyurl.com/something simple. So for ours, the next one is September 3rd moon party, or Sept 3rd moon party. Again, this is something that I encourage you guys to be able to promote in a way that feels right for you. So if you guys are leading members or otherwise, and you guys just want to help spread the word about these, please call to action, make a video, either 15-second or 60-second. Just be like, hey guys, we got a broadcast coming up. I'd love for you to be able to join. And you can send them right to the tiny URL. So tiny URL, Sept 3rd moon party, or whatever it may be for the next week. And that's just easier for them to be able to remember and identify and share, opposed to the short form YouTube link, which is, you know, just kind of random letters and numbers and everything like that. So again, every time that we do one of these podcasts and things, they're practice. They're practice. They're practice for us to be able to come together, to practice sharing, to be able to get outside of our comfort zone, to be able to practice just kind of like the social media leading up to it as well. So again, yeah, that's going to be this Thursday full moon party, and I hope to be able to see you guys there. And again, send me a DM if you want me to be able to send you those graphics, and just congratulating everyone again on last week's and moving forward from there. I do encourage you guys to use the tiny URL method if that's something that resonates with you. You know, say for example, if you guys got a particular broadcast that's in the works and you've got your YouTube link already established, go to tinyurl.com and create a URL that could be something you could simply put in a graphic, and then you could forward it to people, and then encourage other people to be able to share it as well. And then just keep it nice and simple and nice and concise. The tiny URL method also works quite well, even for Discord invites. And this is something that for those of you who are starting to create a Discord server, you guys have probably seen I have a tiny URL for our Paradigm Shift Central chat. And then that way I just kind of like enter it in really quickly, and it sends them to the invite for the server right away. Leading off of last week's meeting that we had, on Monday's meeting, we talked a lot about Patreon, and I'll go over just kind of the basics of that. And also since then, I've actually created a template for you guys to be able to design your own Discord servers. So this is really cool because this basically saves you a bunch of time in being able to kind of like figure out all like the basic setup, where I've sent this to Pisces already. She's the first one to try it out, where it's kind of modeled off of the format that we've got. but it's designed for you to be able to customize, where you would kind of have your welcome channel, your announcements, your info for your exclusive info for your members, your Patreon supporters, Patreon tracker, public chat, and then members chat, and then various other chats related to that. Again, if it works for me, I invite you guys to do it too, to model it, and then just kind of add your own style to it. Like, don't keep it exactly the same, but just kind of add your own unique style to it. And that's okay. Like, I want it to be able to be something that can work for you. Again, the part of the reason for the Discord is that the Discord goes very well when synergized with a Patreon, because the Discord is going to be the great place where you can invite people in that's going to kind of like introduce them to what it is that you're doing and invite them to the Patreon. So that's the value of having the Discord server as having a public space for it. You invite them in there, they go on the welcome page and it says, hey, welcome to our server. This is what we got. And then if you want to join as a Patreon, this is what you get, type thing. So having that Discord server is very, very powerful. And again, just quick recap on the Patreon, and then I want to get into a couple of things, and we'll start passing the talking stick around. Again, Patreon, I for those of you who are like, how do I do, like, I want to become a conscious creator, and I want to either do this as a part-time hobby, and I want to be able to eventually do it as like a full-time job, right? Like, opening yourself up to that possibility, because there is there. Step one is just being able to brainstorm and kind of like really drop into your value and know that you are worthy of being able to receive that. And then again, being able to build the Patreon is something that I encourage you guys to create sooner rather than later. Because as community members are kind of coming through your content, as they're discovering you on Instagram and TikTok, make sure that like you have that possibility to be able to invite them. So for example, you know, like if people are commenting on your post, you could reply to a comment and just be like, hey, thanks so much for checking this out. Please feel free to click my profile link where you can find my YouTube channel, our Discord server, and my Patreon. So this is something that I used to do more so than what I used to do currently, just depending on kind of like my engagement with the TikTok videos. But when people, like, you would create like a little call to action. I've done this in videos, and you guys can do this too, where you can say like, literally create a video that's actually almost like, it may be about something that's coming up, but you're acknowledging people who may be brand new. So you say to them, you've seen me guys do this, you can kind of find your style to this, where you'd be like, hey guys, like, if you're new to my channel, if you're new to me, drop a 333 in the chat. And then I get into explaining and say like, hey, this is an upcoming event that we got, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I see people comment with that 333, I literally reply and say like, aloha, welcome. Feel free to click my profile link for our Discord server, for our team Discord server, and for my Patreon, and for my YouTube, and my shop, and whatever else you guys might want to be able to have. And then again, that's going to lead them in there. Having that one-to-one little reaction and interaction, that's still in an authentic way, is incredibly valuable. Because again, you know, like, even if people are brand new to you, it's still a great opportunity for you to be able to create that first impression and to be able to reach out to them and just to be able to begin establishing that relationship as well. So that's where, again, you want to make sure that you have like your link tree in your profile as well. And the other thing I'll just mention here real quick, again, if you're looking for more detail on the Patreon stuff, we'll get into it during this, because I know some of you are going to talk about your tiers. And again, for those of you who are brand new, Patreon is where people can join with a monthly contribution to be able to get involved with your community further, receive exclusive benefits and rewards. And so the goal of the Patreon is, again, you're building that regenerative income. It's something that you kind of have to commit to, but for different people, it's going to kind of accelerate in different ways, because some people may be focused more on, for me, for our Patreon, I'm kind of more focused on just being able to say like, hey, let's build the little bricks, $11 here, $11 here, $11 here. But for you guys, don't shy away from being able to be like, oh, sweet, like I've got the higher tiers that are like $50, $60, $100 if you're ready to be able to provide that value. The only reason I don't really do that is because with me, my focus is really more just about like helping you guys. So I don't kind of want it to be like this like big wall that people have to climb over. I make it more accessible because like I'm not too worried about money in the same way. I've already got it established to the point where I actually have that choice to be able to say like, sweet, now I can actually just provide my services at a more accessible value. But again, when you guys are getting started, especially if you're even just working with smaller groups, don't shy away from being able to say like, yes, I do have those higher value tiers on my Patreon, but then I still have the lower value tiers that help get people in the door. And then that's where we're saying a $5 one just for like discounts and minimum, and then $11 would be like your standard. And I would encourage you to do that. 5 and 11 is pretty fair, or do like 5 and 13 or something like that. Something about that is pretty fair. And again, building your Patreon sooner rather than later is going to help you in the long run. The other thing I'll just say is that, again, you know, if you're not already yet, utilizing TikTok as a conscious creator is incredibly valuable, because Again, with TikTok, it's almost like a lottery. You never know when a video might kind of blow up, where with Instagram, it's a little bit more consistent. If you're just sticking to Instagram and you're just sticking to Facebook, you're kind of just staying in the same pond, you know, like there's people who already know you, but it's harder to reach out to find more people. This used to be different on Facebook because usually you'd be able to share to different groups, Facebook groups and pages and things like that. Those don't really work anymore. I don't really use them too much. So that's where most people were finding out about other creators, but all these pages, like they're so just flooded with stuff. It doesn't really work in the same way. So again, if you're on just Facebook and Instagram, you're probably connected with people that have already known you for like over half a year already. And you might get a few people coming in, that's possible. But your new engagement, I highly recommend utilizing TikTok for that. That's where you're going to find the new people. So that's where you're going to create your first impressions. And then you use your TikTok as a lead-in to your YouTube and to your Instagram and to your Discord server and to your Patreon. So using the TikTok is incredibly important. And again, and with the TikTok, you know, I say this, and then we'll get into just kind of opening up things to hear from you guys. With the TikTok, you know, it's something that, from the way I see it, it's good to be able to focus on creating quality content. It is kind of a dice roll every time. You do want to focus on bringing, again, a lot of that quality. We talked about this in the past, but also understand you're kind of on like borrowed views when it comes to TikTok, meaning just because like one of your videos might get like, you know, 1,000 more views than the other ones, don't expect the next ones to do that too. This happens with creators. They'll like literally kind of like go. They'll kind of grow, and then they'll reach a certain point, and then for whatever reason, they'll just kind of plateau. And if they haven't fully established themselves at that point, they've kind of got themselves in a bit of a tough rut where suddenly, you know, they've reached out to all these people, but then they never really fully established the relationships as deeply as they could have. And now they're kind of at this point where they're actually like feeling almost like this like sadness. They're like, what the heck? My content used to reach thousands of people and now it's only getting 100 people or something like that. I've had to come to terms with this as well. But then again, you know, it's like, even if you are just reaching those minimal people, if you're focusing on the engagement, you're focusing on the relationship, it's still meaningful. It's still important. So the numbers are great, but you want to focus on the individual relationships and just be really focused on being able to utilize and optimize your time effectively in that manner. And again, you know, keep focusing on the TikTok, study other creators, mimic things that other people are doing, pay attention to doing like short 15-second videos, 60-second longer videos with a little bit more of a content to help them relate with you further, and just keep playing with it, keep exploring with it. Again, check in with me more as we kind of move through that, and just I'd be happy to be able to give some more feedback specifically on the TikTok creation things. With that said, we're going to just kind of open up the discussion here. And I know some of you got some particular questions. Again, I'm here. We have David, Justine, Curtis, Brianna, and Pisces. And I know some of you have like questions about like Patreon and things like that. And again, part of the reason why we do these meetings and we invite people in time and time again, because like, opposed to just me just making one video and say, hey, here's how you do it. I want to have these meetings where you guys get to come to me with specific questions that help you get clarity and help you move things forward week to week to week to week. Because every single week we're going to be working on things, and there's always going to be new people coming and going as we move through this. So yeah, let's just check in. I know some of you got questions, so somebody just give me a hands up. Maybe if we can start off with Patreon things, and then from there we'll kind of evolve into more stuff. Brianna. Okay, so Brianna, go ahead when you're ready, and unmute yourself and go ahead. Yep.
Hey everyone, I'm Brianna. In my first work meeting. So my question is about the first level tiers, and what I do is like holistic mental health counseling and card readings as well. And so with the $5 entry level, currently I have like a monthly meditation available, but I am kind of stuck on what else would be an incentive for somebody to join at a $5 level. And then at my $11 level, let me just pull up. At my $11 level, I have like secret project reveals and a monthly meditation video to support the monthly card reading. And daily health tips was something I was contemplating in terms of adding for the $5 level, because I feel like if I have something to post daily, it kind of creates that exclusiveness or like a reason to join the Patreon. But I remember you mentioned something earlier where you were saying how we have to be careful how much information we give away for free, and we have to try and create that incentive for them to join the Patreon. to get more information on a topic that they were interested in. And so I guess I'm kind of stuck on like, how much do I offer at a $5 level, and how much do I offer that's like exclusive for the $5 level? I guess we'll just stay on that one.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you, Brianna. Yeah, and again, you know, as we go into this, like I'll be able to give you guys some ideas. Obviously, anything I'm saying, it's just brainstorming, so feel it out. And I know everyone's going to kind of build their Patreon in a way that makes sense for them. So I can speak off of things that I've already seen to be working quite well. And yeah, kind of with what you were talking about, Brianna, I think it's important to kind of find a balance where we're making sure that people see the value that we're providing, opposed to keeping too much of it behind closed doors. This is where, like for me, a lot of the content that I provide, I release it for free. Like there's only a couple things that I have that are exclusively content-wise, exclusively for leading members. What you're actually getting when you're engaged at the higher levels on Patreon is the interaction, is the engagement. It's not necessarily a particular video. That's where, again, at the higher levels on the Patreon, it should be people getting the chance to be able to work with you more, to be able to go into your private Zoom calls, to be able to go into your private Discord chat, to be able to have the ability to even check in with you one-on-one with questions if need be, or to be able to even offer suggestions for video topics that you might be able to make as well. But I would honestly consider just kind of it's okay to change your Patreon. I've changed my Patreon plenty of times over the years. Like what it is now and what it was when it started is very, very different. And I was always kind of adjusting it as you go. And your supporters will understand that, you know. But yeah, I think if you were to create something where, again, you know, your $5 is literally just kind of, this is what I've been doing, telling people, you know, like this is where at the $5, they get access to some secret videos, even if you have those, maybe you don't. Maybe you might want to change everything to public. That's okay. And then like discount for items. So if some of us here, we also have like items on the side. So again, it's just like a little incentive for them to be able to order items, because again, that's going to be a sale that otherwise wouldn't have happened if they didn't have the incentive for the discount. And that's where we do 25% discount. And then as they get into the higher tiers beyond the 11, then the discount becomes like 35, 45, 55. But I have it as 25 at 5 and 25 at 11. It's not that much of a difference. But then again, at the $5 one is basically just kind of people who are just like, hey, like, you know, like I just want to kind of support you. You know, here's a coffee. Here's this, you know. But again, the $11 is people who are being invited into a space where they get to engage with you a little bit more. So it's like, hey guys, you want to work with me one-on-one? Here's what you can get. And this is what we were talking about this last week with Pisces, the other day with Pisces and Oleg. And I'll just mention it again because I know it really resonated. This idea of kind of creating the tiers where you work with people more one-on-one. And so this is where like at like $30 or $40 a month, you could have a tier where they have access to you kind of for coaching or consultation through text message specifically, or not text message like as in like a phone, but some sort of like direct message. This direct message could either be directly through Discord, or what I was recommending is using a whole new app. One that I use is called Voxer, Voxer. But then, so again, 30 to 40 level, that means they get access to your knowledge and your presence and your time just through text though. And then say at like the $60 level a month, then they get access to you for voice. So this is where you're able to send voice messages back and forth, and they can kind of send and be like, hey Brianna, I'm checking in today. This is what I was working on. Or maybe, hey Brianna, something happened today and I noticed this trigger and I'm just kind of talking out loud so that I can use you as an accountability coach. And, or there may be things where it's like, hey Brianna, do you have any suggestions? That's it, you know, things you've done before. But doing it in such a way where, again, having the voice message on that is very flexible for you, because it doesn't require you to immediately be there, and they know that you'll get back to them once you get a chance to. I've done this in the past. It works out quite well. And then again, at like the higher level, which could be, you know, between like $100 to $300 a month, which is still very reasonable. That's when they get your one-on-one video calls, you know, or your one-on-one phone calls or something like that. And within these video calls, you guys can kind of decide to customize them, where maybe you'll add like private tarot readings. You could do like a custom meditation for them. It could be like an energy thing. It could be something specific to your niche related to psychology, whatever it may be, because you've got that expertise. So I think just doing that, and then at the $11 level, this is again kind of what I was talking to other people, and it's cool that we're all doing this because we're all reaching different people, but this model works. And that's where at the $11 level, that's when they get access to the rest of your Discord channel. And within the $11 level, that's where maybe you're hosting your Zoom calls, you know, your once a month Zoom calls, or even your once a week Zoom calls, if you really want to create the momentum going. And part of the benefit of having like a once a week event is that it gives you the chance to plug it. You know, it gives you something to be able to direct people's attention to. And then again, and what you can do is you can still have the recording for these Zoom calls, be it about a particular topic, be it again, you know, like some sort of like Q&A or meditation, something where they interact, because you're not just there to serve them, you're inviting them to be participants. And then you post the recording of this online. And then again, people see that and they're like, oh, that was really cool. I loved how Brianna was facilitating that. I'd love to be involved with the next one. And you're inviting them into that $11 level. Again, pretty much what we're doing here, but just niched around your own style. That in itself is enough to get started. Again, the only reason that my model is a little bit different in the sense that like I don't necessarily do like the voice call and the video call one-on-one is just because right now my focus is supporting you guys in this format at the $11 and then just kind of, you know, showing up in these consolidated meetings in this way as well. Otherwise, otherwise I'd probably be doing that, but at this point, I'm just not doing that currently. But yeah, that would be kind of my immediate thoughts on that. And I'm sure even just for Justine and Pisces and even for anybody else that basically can apply to you guys as well. I think that's a viable model. And that's where, again, once you kind of get to like the one-on-one thing, you could have it where it's like for $100 a month, maybe that's where you have 2 sessions. But then maybe if there's like a $300 a month, maybe that's where there's like, you know, maybe 3 sessions, 4 sessions, maybe they go a little bit longer and they also still get access to you through voice. But again, even with those, set a limit. Don't have it so like, not that it would happen right away, but like, you know, just be like, this is exclusive and I only have space for 3 of these gold star memberships sort of thing, you know? So like make it exclusive and kind of hype it up. Post about it. Be like, hey guys, this is my expertise. I've been helping people over the years. Here's my experience. Here's my knowledge. I love helping you. If this is something that you resonate with, go ahead and let me know. And then again, you know, even if people, and this is where, again, your content that you provide for free is essentially a lead-in for them to be able to work with you personally. So this is why having too much behind a paywall when you only have like 4 Patreon supporters is actually hurting you. You know, that content should be out in the public and inviting people back to the exclusive engagement as well. And then you may still have some stuff that may be like, you know, for the $11 members, there may still be some private videos for them. But that's up to you. That's up to you. But you may decide to literally just keep almost everything public. But then the Patreon supporters get to join the on-air Zoom calls and the recording. And again, when they're joining the Zoom calls, you also use it as they also get the value of them being able to get in front of an audience, which can help lead people back to their content as well, if they're doing that. Because your community may not necessarily be like, hey, this is a bunch of creators, but it may just be a bunch of people that are just working on their spirituality and they like talking about things, you know, whereas ours is a little bit different because all of us have like our own brands and everything like that. So we're trying to promote each other. But for them, it just may be like, hey, this is a cool chance for us to get together and talk, you know, and to have these discussions. And that's valuable. That's valuable for me. Heck yeah, I would pay $10 to go to a facilitated meeting where we can talk about spirituality and things like that. So Brianna, I'll pass it back to you. Let me know if that makes sense. Any other questions, if that gives you some clarity and ideas, and we'll pass it around after that. Go ahead, Brianna.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much. That was very clarifying. I liked the idea of breaking it up to like text messages and voice recordings and then having that video. That's kind of where I was stuck, was like, how do I offer these one-on-one sessions that I'm so used to offering in a counseling setting, but at a tiered level? So I appreciate that insight. There are a lot of people who do message me on Facebook, and I wish that I could get them to join the Patreon so that they can message me those questions and I can feel like, okay, I'm not giving my time away for free. Also, I had my standard is usually a $33 for an hour session. And so at the $33 tier level, I was trying to come up with some ways to make that level more appealable. And I liked that idea of creating a custom meditation for people, having that as an option for them, because I could definitely record like a little 15-minute custom meditation and send it out to people. And I would feel like that would be worth my time. So I appreciate that. And then also the little hints about like the $100 level and like what's an option to offer there too, just to keep reminding ourselves that we are worth that much, that our time is worth that much. So I really appreciate that, especially with like setting an exclusive limit on how many people can join at that level too. So thank you, Brendon. That was really helpful.
Cool. Glad to hear. Thank you as well, Brianna. And yeah, and again, like I think you can still do your like individual coaching sessions, and you could still keep those where it's like 1 hour for $33. That's okay. But then the appeal of people joining on the Patreon is that they would still get that 1 hour thing, but they would also get like the monthly voice messaging and text messaging between meetings as well. So some people may just be like, hey, I just want the 1 hour. That's all I need. And then I'll come back to you when I need another one. And this is where, again, even at the $11 level, you could give them the option where they get like the discount for those single meetings, just the single meetings by themselves, because some people are going to prefer that. But again, if you're creating that higher tier, it's not just the single meeting, it's a single meeting plus the monthly coaching as well, between that, which a lot of people would be like, oh, sweet. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to pay for that. Because again, it's an investment for themselves. And if it helps them kind of get out of those like states of kind of like low vibe and things like that, that's valuable. That's incredibly valuable for people. And they'll invest in that. And again, Brianna, and this goes for everybody, I know, because Brianna, you're doing a lot of your tarot readings, and I just want to be able to like see how those are going to be able to evolve around your Patreon as you kind of get things a little bit more refined. Because I think you'll find that, again, it's important to use the tarot readings, the live broadcast, to direct people to the Patreon. I think it's great that you're doing the tarot readings and everything like that, but I think there's a way for you to be able to optimize them more effectively, right? Because it's just like, okay, you're doing the readings, people kind of get something out of it, and like how many of those people are signing up for your Patreon? How many of those people are kind of following in up for readings? It's great, you're getting experience and you're showing people that like, yo, she's consistent, this is great. But even still, it's just like you're kind of talking to the same people over and over and over again. Those readings would be more valuable if you're doing it in front of a new audience, or again, if you're going live on TikTok and Instagram at the same time. So this, or Facebook and Instagram. So this is where, you go live on Facebook from your laptop, and then you're live on Instagram at the same time. And then again, it's kind of like recorded on both. But yeah, just making sure that you're being fair to yourself by utilizing every single live broadcast that you do, unless it's totally just super casual, should be kind of like moving the needle forward towards people being able to understand more about what it is that you have to offer. Otherwise, it hurts you. You'll go through it and you'll just be like, wow, that was really awesome, but I'm no further ahead than I was, sort of thing. And that's just part of the learning curve and everything like that. So I think just kind of, once you get confident with your Patreon, be like, yo guys, this is the value that I got to offer. I'm going to give you guys so much value in this reading and in this broadcast, and I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to hype it up, and you guys are going to feel my vibes. And then if you guys want to connect further, check out the Patreon, join at the $11 level to get your foot in the door. And then if you want to work with me even more, we can do that. You can join our meetings and everything like that. So I'll just pass back to you, Brianna, real quick. Let me know what you think of that.
Yeah, thanks. I've been kind of experimenting with my live streams, trying to do them consistently to keep myself accountable, and to also, again, like you said, show the audience that I am consistent. This is what I do. I've been doing it for like 10 years. And but I did recognize that I would have the same people tuning in, or my viewers kind of dropped off a lot, or I did get a lot of card readings initially from that, a lot of clients initially from that, and then retention kind of dropped off. So I was trying to figure out what words to choose. So like offering my qualifications at the beginning of the video, so that people who tune in, they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. She's not just doing it for fun, so to speak. And then also, like, I've been experimenting with wording, and I wrote down some of the things that you said, Brendon, so that I can like practice saying like, I appreciate you for tuning in today. Why don't you click the link in my profile? So I really do appreciate you kind of showing how we can, or giving us language to use to direct people to our different social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll just put on just a couple more things, and thanks, Brianna, and then we'll pass it on. And I imagine what we're kind of talking about here also applies to some of the other people on the call, like Justine, Pisces. Like you guys are kind of getting stuff out of this too, right? Like this is applicable in a similar way, and again into Curtis and David as well. what I was going to say here was one thing that you can do that I found has been helpful for engagement. I mentioned this in the last meeting, but I'll just mention it real quick just to be able to communicate. Is tell them that, again, with the Patreon, when you create the Patreon, you can create it in a way where the contributions either process right away or they process on the first of each month. I encourage you to keep it so they just process on the first of each month, because that can actually serve as a little bit of an incentive where like it gives them a little bit of a trial period, and it makes it easier for them to be able to decide and say yes to, where it's like, and yeah, if you guys are interested in signing up for the Patreon, contributions only process at the first of each month. So you can sign up today, get your foot in the door, get involved, and then the contributions will process a little bit later. And then that way for some, it can just be like, okay, sweet. You know, it's kind of like a money back guarantee, but you would hope that if they're signing up, they're legitimately interested and not just kind of like, you know, flaky about it and things like that. Damn flaky people. But anyways, but what we want to be able to do, another thing that you can do as a tactic, and again, this is also, this is more useful for TikTok, but it can still apply for Instagram and Facebook. But basically just be like, when you're on your broadcast, be like, hey guys, and if you want to connect further, here's my Patreon and here's what you get, here's what we offer. If you guys are interested in this, drop a 555 in the comments, and if it's on TikTok, I'll follow you back. And then if you have any questions, you can let me know. If it's on Facebook or Instagram, they're probably already following you. So you could just be like, drop the 555 and I'll send you a message after and just kind of follow up with you type thing. So even in that moment, again, you're just kind of inviting people to be like, to be able to like on the fly, make that choice where they'd be like, yeah, you know what, I would be interested in doing that. And then for them to let you know in the chat, and then you follow up, you thank them for tuning in, you express your gratitude. It's all genuine. Like, it's all genuine. You can still have a template while it's still being very genuine at the same time. And then again, and then just kind of like having a little bit of information you can send them. And this is a side note, but it would be useful for you guys to create like a little bit of like a copy paste blurb about what your Patreon is and how it works. So you can say like, yeah, you know, like this is what we offer. You can join the Discord chat, just be able to kind of get involved, and then you get full access when you become a special member. And then again, trying to find a term for your community members is important too. So for ours, it's leading members. For yours, I mean, I know leading members could be applicable for you guys, but I would encourage you to just try and find like some kind of term for your Patreon supporters that kind of like makes them stand out, makes it feel special, gives you a way to be able to identify them. Thank you again to our special star members or something like that. I don't know. I haven't thought of that. I haven't thought that far ahead. But you guys know what I mean. Because that's just going to help you with communicating and identifying, directing people as well. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think that, yeah. So having like a copy paste thing where, you know, if people are just like, or if they're just like, hey, like, are you interested in possibly learning? Are you interested? Would you like me to send you more information? And they say yes. And then you copy paste and you send them a blurb. And you can even say to them, you can just be like, can I send you the information that I send members? Like, you don't have to hide the fact that it's copy paste. It's okay if it's obvious, because it just kind of keeps it consolidated and keeps it concise. Anyway, team. Okay, let's keep passing the talking stick around. You guys let me know how this is. I know, again, sometimes we're kind of going over stuff from other meetings, but there's always new people joining in. And ultimately, again, it's okay to repeat things because we're just refining the process. And I'm excited for you guys to be able to get things going. So cool. Thanks, Brianna. Okay, who would like to go next? Go ahead. Just give me a hands up for whoever wants to go next. And again, not everyone even has to go. Like, I know some of you guys are just kind of like tuning in, and I hope this just kind of helps with brainstorming. Pisces, did you want to go next? Or Justine? Who's going next? Does anybody have their hand up? Yeah?
I saw David actually put his hand up.
Did David put his hand up? David? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, okay, David, go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, so I just had a quick question. I'm still trying to get everything set up and going. I'm more or less arming myself with knowledge more than creating any content. But one of the biggest factors that I have as an obstacle for me is time. Working a full-time job, being a father, being a husband, I don't have a whole lot of free time except for that wee hours of the morning, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night type thing. So what platform would you suggest probably being a better platform to start getting content out there with that being a factor as far as restricting my time, not being able to have live meditations or anything like that during normal people hours, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and just to confirm, Dave, before I answer the question, do you feel like are you kind of like looking to eventually build a community and a Patreon around your stuff, but right now you're just kind of in the process of just getting into the content creation, or are you feeling like you just want to create content purely for creating content?
No, I am trying to lead into a Patreon. I'm trying to get everything started. Whenever I pull the trigger, it's all there, all at the same time, everything all at once kind of deal.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Quick answer to that. I would recommend TikTok. TikTok would be the place to go because, again, essentially, like whatever you're creating on TikTok, you can also re-upload to Instagram, and then your Instagram should almost be like almost kind of like an echo of TikTok, but then you can still post, again, with Instagram, you can post your photos. So you can post photos of, like family and pets and nature and going out on hikes and just kind of thoughts or inspirational quotes, just additional things as well. And again, the value of having the Instagram is that through the Instagram, that's where you can kind of like send people direct links. And this goes for everybody. This is where, like, again, if you're reaching out to people on TikTok, what I do is once I reach out to them, I say to them, be like, if they're like, hey, I'm interested in the team, I'll say to them, can I send you a DM over Instagram with more information and links? So you're straight up just asking for their consent. You're being polite. But again, the value there is that once you connect with them on Instagram, that's where you can send them direct links, such as a link to your team chat, your Patreon, etc. You can't send links through TikTok, and people can only message you on TikTok if they're following you back. So that's a little side note. But yeah, David, I would definitely recommend just kind of like getting into the flow of creating on TikTok, because again, like it's possible for you to just kind of like create content there that you could probably produce in less than a half hour, less than 20 minutes, depending on what it is. Start kind of getting a little bit of clarity on what type of content you want to create, even just like, pulling in like inspirational ideas, inspirational quotes, practicing getting like footage from nature, practice even being on camera once you're ready for that. But yeah, TikTok would be the place to be. And again, the reason for that is because TikTok's algorithm is far more favorable than Instagram's as well. So even as you're starting off on TikTok, it would be great for you to kind of be able to like maybe even have a Patreon already ready as you get ready to kind of like start your TikTok. But then again, starting to figure out like what the niche of your community is, what type of community you would want to build. So those things, I'm sure we can talk a little bit more about that. But David, I'll pass it back to you. Let me know if that gives you basic.
Yeah, no, that does. And yeah, I was going to say, as far as what type of content, I've been thinking I need to have a more one-on-one conversation with you as far as narrowing it down, because I've got 1,000 ideas that I just need to whittle through a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you. That definitely does give me a good direction with where to go with everything. I appreciate it.
Cool, no problem. And then again, so yeah, like for YouTube, and you do want to utilize YouTube because YouTube is going to be your long form content. YouTube can be like your recorded live broadcast. YouTube can be your recorded Zoom calls that you re-upload. I have not been making content specifically for YouTube quite in the same way that I used to, because I've been putting that energy towards TikTok and then directing people over to YouTube. And this is, and again, even for for Brianna, I know you're still creating content on YouTube quite regularly. It may be worthwhile just kind of like moving some of that energy from YouTube creation into TikTok creation, because again, like the YouTube content is just kind of reaching the same people over and over again. You got a lot of great content there. You got a lot that you've already like archived. What would happen if you were to start focusing on that more towards TikTok, and that's where you're going to get your new people, your new engagement, your new introductions and everything like that. Yeah, so like that's where like, yeah, like I when I feel called, I still make a video on YouTube, but primarily my YouTube is uploading these recordings and doing our live broadcasts and then the odd video, compared to before where I was only creating on YouTube and stuff like that. But then again, like your YouTube will grow because of your TikTok. And then eventually, say if you like spend a month building your TikTok and then you've kind of got that established. And again, this can go for, for Justine and Pisces and everybody here and David and Curtis, you can kind of spend a month focused on TikTok. And then as you do that, you can kind of like lead into the launch of your YouTube. Be like, hey guys, I've got my first like 10-minute long video about me talking about like 5 tips for shadow work, where I go into more detail than what I can get into in a 1-minute video on TikTok. And so you kind of pump it up, especially if you've kind of like already established that audience, and then you lead them in. I've seen people do this as well, who grew their following quite quick on TikTok and then use that to build their YouTube, opposed to vice versa, so to speak. So TikTok's got the most flow of traffic, and so that's where you want to utilize that traffic and then redirect it into the other channels. So cool. Okay. David, is that good? Anything else at the moment? That's good. Okay, cool. All right, team. We got about 20 minutes, give or take. We'll probably get close within 15. Then I can just post this to Instagram without having to edit it. And a reminder, that's another thing, you know, you can upload your videos to Instagram from desktop that are longer than like certain format, and you can upload like the widescreen as well, like the 16:9. Another app that I would recommend you guys use is Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is what I'll use for creating like thumbnails on Instagram. So if you're like uploading something from YouTube, you could upload it on desktop, like use Instagram, upload it from desktop, and then create a little thumbnail in Instagram. I can give you guys more directions in that. There's a couple little mini tips and tricks there. But yeah, even for you, Brianna, like I think it would be valuable for you to even like re-upload some of your YouTube content onto your Instagram. You know, even just kind of, you know, like one video a week, and it's okay. It can be an old video. Some of those videos are timeless, you know, just to be able to show people a little bit more about what you do. So again, TikTok, only less than a minute video. Instagram, benefit because it's images, and also your profile link is activated right away, and you can upload longer videos. And then YouTube specifically for your archive of longer videos. And then your Discord, and that's where you get your community engagement, and use your Discord to kind of like announce things and everything like that. Like again, use your Discord as a way to serve people notifications. Once they join your Discord, that's where they're going to get notifications about your upcoming events a little bit easier than they would just get it if they're depending on it through TikTok. TikTok is not the best for being able to make sure that your information gets to people. Again, a lot of the engagement on TikTok is kind of like the way the algorithm works. It will be some of your followers, but there's also going to be a lot of new people, and it's not as dependable. So that's where, you know, if I just have like, be like, hey guys, like I've got tarot coming up tonight, I don't post that on TikTok because that would actually kind of like hurt my algorithm in a sense, because not a lot of people would see it, and by the time they see it, it would already be past that point. And that's another thing. Quick tip for TikTok: do your best to not delete videos, and if you do need to hide a video, just set it to private. This is another thing we'll talk a little bit about probably on another one, even though we talked about it previously. The way TikTok works is that you have what's known as account authority. And so as you continue to build momentum within your account through both consistency and quality and engagement, then it will favor your account and begin to boost it forward. This is what happens sometimes when you'll see some accounts, they'll grow really fast, but in the process of them growing, they've tripped over a bunch of community violation guidelines, and they've gotten videos removed, and they've got things flagged, and for whatever reason, it's affected their rank. So when you kind of start off with a new account, your rank's like pretty fresh. You're again, you know, you're like this clean slate. Do your best to not violate any community guidelines. And this goes for the lives as well. Don't be smoking weed on your lives or anything like that. Like that's against the community guidelines. So play within the rules and play for the long term. I've seen a lot of TikTok creators and they're passionate about what they have to share, but at the same time, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, you went against the community guidelines. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I understand like what you're sharing is passionate, but don't be surprised when it says that like this violates something. Sometimes it's going to be a gray area. Again, sometimes it's like, oh damn, are they censoring us and everything like that? But again, play with the long-term game in mind, and if it's not worth getting a potential strike over, then don't post it, because that's just going to hurt your content in the long run. And again, that's the thing. I feel sorry for TikTok creators that have like spent the last 3 months building up their TikTok and they've got like 100,000 followers, but their account is basically dead because they violated too many guidelines and they didn't pay attention to, you know, just making sure that they were adhering to those. So yeah, just do your best there. And again, focus on quality content on TikTok, and we can talk more about that another time as well. Okay. Anybody else? Justine, Curtis, Pisces, let me know if you guys, again, even just kind of check in. Pisces? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Pisces, when you're ready.
Just definitely have a personal tip running off of that note, that for my tarot friends, if you're going to do something on the TikTok with your tarot cards, my favorite tarot reader was permanently banned from the live she had a history of no violations for showing the Lover's card because the art was just a little bit too loverly. So maybe just really be discerning with those types of cards if you're going live on TikTok with your tarot. And then I did want to say for David, as a parent, just a super awesome tip if you're going to get into TikTok and you're struggling with time to create and do lives and stuff like that. something I really like to do that it seems kind of silly, but just, making like a 15-second or a 60-second video for TikTok, post it, change your shirt, make another one, save it to drafts, change your shirt, make another one, save it to drafts. That's 3 days of work in less than an hour. And it is so helpful as a parent and someone who has very little time to really commit to creating content.
Yeah, thank you, Pisces as well, and David. Yeah, definitely. Like again, I think it's kind of like one of those things where like once you kind of get into the flow of it, you're like it can be incredibly valuable to create a backlog of videos if you've got like an afternoon. You got like 2 hours, you could probably get like 4 videos done if you're doing it quick. And again, this is where I know not all the videos literally have to be like you on screen at the same time. I know Curtis actually had some success with some videos recently that were primarily graphic based with some music and some additional effects. Those caught the algorithm and those got thousands of views, so like ideally, like if you're posting content, do your best to make sure that like it's your original content. I know some people do things where they kind of like upload memes and they're like dancing in front of them, stuff like that. I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but just for kind of like getting into the flow of like making sure that you're developing your own creativity, don't depend too much on just repurposing the memes and everything like that. But the odd one here and there can be a useful strategy to boost the algorithm. Curtis, do you want to say anything on that note or anything like that? If you want to jump in, feel free. Go ahead.
Well, you were mentioning the algorithm and how I actually just kind of, used my hashtags correctly. Just finding out hashtags. I always look at the hashtags saying, can you hear me? Okay. Using hashtags saying like, oh, there's billion people on this hashtag, like using world and different things, especially, going along with what content you have, you want to try to adhere to the certain crowd. And I'm actually trying to push woke TikTok, the hashtag. I'm trying to keep posting woke TikTok. So more people are going to be, I'm hearing, cause I'm getting people that are, I don't know, sometimes I have like a Christian thing on there, which I deleted because someone commented on it. And, but they're like, it's like just, I'm trying to bring awareness to what it means, like equality in it, I don't know. Just utilizing hashtags.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really, really good piece of advice. Thank you, Curtis. And again, we've talked about this in the past, but we'll always talk about it more. And again, for those of you, again, like I know Brianna, you're going to be getting a little bit more active on TikTok. Like definitely, like before you even post, just like even check base with one of us or directly with me and just kind of be like, hey, like what hashtags do you recommend? But that's the thing with TikTok, when you enter your hashtag, it will tell you like how many people are currently engaged with it. So if it says like less than 100, don't use that hashtag. Like don't use obscure hashtags that are like just like describing something. Use it as a hashtag that's targeting a specific niche. Curtis, did you want?
I wanted to say one more thing. If you're trying to, push a hashtag, like say make it go famous, like in like Twitter, you have trending stuff. That's what the community's for. That's what we have each other for, to kind of boost this the hashtag you want. It's like a just kind of make it go viral or a pop in some sort of new trend, creating trends. That's a good tool to use.
Yeah. I've experimented around a bit with creating hashtags. It's not something that I would encourage people to focus, but there is a benefit to it. At the very least, if you're looking to kind of like categorize your content. For example, like I created that separate account for Project Hierophant, and I specifically use the hashtag Project Hierophant within my videos because I put that right at the top of the post. And then if people just happen to click into that, then that will take them to the other videos. So if you like create a little hashtag that might be just for you, and then they click that, and then it just kind of gives them a page just of your videos as well. And there are going to be some time. Sorry, Justine, did you have to jump out? Did you want to jump in, Justine? Just say, no, you're good? Okay, cool. All right, Justine, we can touch base another time. Thanks, Justine. Have an awesome rest of your day. We're almost done in a minute anyways. But yeah, just finishing up on a couple notes. There are some times where like if the hashtags are not fully utilized correctly, or if you don't use hashtags, there's like this weird like anomaly where the TikTok will just kind of like send it out through whoever. I've played around with this, like on the Project Terrafont one. That's one where I do like the graphics and things like that. And they're all 15-second videos. There's one video that I did, and I only put Project Terrafont as the only hashtag. So I left it blank. I'm like, let's just see what happens, right? And then it kind of went out there. It did okay. And then like 2 weeks later, that video started getting pushed into people's FYP for whatever reason. But this is kind of funny. This isn't even a tip. This is just kind of like an experience. For whatever reason, TikTok was like sending my video to weebs. Like it was literally sending it to like anime nerds and stuff like that. Like I could tell because I could see like all of these likes were like all these like anime avatars and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is going on here? But at the same time, it was like planting a seed within the anime community. So I'm like, okay, like that's okay. But again, you know, with your hashtags, you want to be very specific because that's going to build your community. So don't create hashtags, you know, you're just like talking about spirituality and you use the hashtag football players because it's popular. And then suddenly you got football players commenting on your post. And it's like, well, this isn't what I need, right? Like I need to find the other people that are engaging with those similar content because that's the way TikTok works. Based on videos that people like, it will feed them videos that are using specific hashtags because that's how the algorithm works. When you type in the hashtag, you're telling TikTok who to send it to. That's essentially how it works. So make sure, you could literally put up a post twice and you could change the hashtags and it could have a completely different reach. And again, it's a bit of a dice roll. It really is sometimes. It's still a bit of a mystery to me as well. All right, team, let's get close to wrapping this up. I think we're just about ready to do this here. So if anybody else just has any quick just like gratitude or just kind of check in how you guys feeling in terms of your next steps, go ahead and let me know. And a reminder for those of you who are looking to create your Discord server, I do have the template that I can send you. So Pisces, you've already got that going. That's on our way. That's great. Brianna, I can send that to you if you would like. And we can just kind of start getting that set up in the background because that's going to be value for your Patreon and your community as well. And if anybody else needs it. And Curtis, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say how grateful I am for where I am today, like the mindset. Maybe I'm not be successful the way I want to be or have a job, a career, but I have some sort of direction and I have almost I've been just, it's kind of funny when you like argue with your parents about certain ways of living and how you live and how like, oh, what feels right. You know, some people in society want to say, oh, I can do the work, but I don't have to feel good doing it. You know, like my mom would say like, oh, I had to work to pay bills and stuff and I didn't feel good. And that takes a toll on someone's health. And I really wanted to make a point about being in tune with nature and like, what it really means to like, oh, I say I wanted to do the farming stuff. I want to incorporate this yoga and especially the farming stuff, like in terms of growing your gardens and stuff like that. And living with nature is something, almost off-world like in this society. And my point is, there's so much left we still need to learn for this longevity that we have.
Totally, dude. Totally. And again, I think just what you're saying there, I think that's like great message that can be brought into your TikTok if you feel called and stuff like that. But
I'm still working on it.
Totally, man. Totally. No, it's good. And yeah, and agree. Exactly. That's why we're having that's why I love supporting you guys, because I want you guys to be able to do something that's in alignment with your soul and to be able to open up to that possibility that you could be doing this as something that you focus on as a regular thing. So as your devotion. Okay, team, I think we're just a couple minutes over the timeline. I try to keep it under an hour that way so I can just edit it right to Instagram without having to trim it. But anybody else real quick? Otherwise, you guys can always catch me just through a DM afterwards. Go ahead, Pisces, yeah. Go ahead, that's fine.
I could also, I could just DM you, just gonna pop my plans in here real quick.
Sure.
I plan to basically finish up after I DM with you and launch my Patreon, then kind of post a couple videos to YouTube, meditation, and then launch my Discord, get that ironed out by the end of the day, and then I'll be using TikTok to promote the new platforms.
Cool. Awesome. That sounds great. Wonderful. All right. Good job,
Thank
Pisces.
you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Wonderful. Awesome. All right. David, Brianna, anything before we just wrap it up? We're good. Okay, team. All right. So at this point, again, we got our full moon party tomorrow. So if you guys are around for that, please feel free to join. That's going to be like sharing, like it's going to be kind of chill and free flow creativity, song, music, dance party. We'll make it whatever we feel. But yeah, in the meantime, if you have any questions, just send me a DM. I can answer that. And we'll be back here for another work period on Monday. And yeah, cool. All right. Okay. Everybody, thank you again. And go ahead, give it like a peace sign to all the people watching this. Be like, peace, guys. We love you guys. Cool. All right. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Click the links down below, join our Discord, and join on Patreon to become a leading member. And also, you can click the links for the people featured on this meeting. All right. Much love, everyone. Until next time. Peace.